Hey, what's up, y'all? Y'all know my slogan. I don't know it all, but I know what I've been through. Now, before we get into this video, make sure you check us out on Patreon at www.patreon.com/Hookah Anonymous _. You guys been telling us to create one for the longest, so we recently created a community where we will upload videos that we can't share on YouTube due to their guidelines. We'll also be dropping the latest to there first, behind the scenes information that you wouldn't find anywhere else on our socials. So make sure you become a member, and after you do that, head over to our official Instagram page at Hookah Anonymous _ and follow us there. Now without further ado, let's get into what you guys came here to see. Now, I'm sure by now everybody has heard that Lil Durk have been denied bond yet again for the third time in I think less than like 6 months or 6 months total. Now it's kind of crazy because everybody is actually surprised, but I always said that it doesn't make sense on why he was able to get so much bonds if they was going to keep denying him for the same thing. Now, as everybody is more surprised that he was denied, I'm also surprised that he was even given a bond 3 times in less than 1 year. That don't happen. Now, in his previous bond attempts, he have given a significant amount of money, whereas he was saying 2.5, then it was 3, and the latest one was almost $5 million, including a couple assets and including guidelines that he said he was going to follow, which included electronic monitoring and 24/7 supervision. Now, with the first 2 attempts, the bonds was held using a magistrate judge by the name of Judge Donahue, who denied both of his bond attempts from December to the one he was also granted in April. Ultimately, Judge Donahue stated that she denied Durk's bond based on him being a flight risk, and being that he is who he is, he also posed a threat to society, being that he not only has power to get things done without directly being involved, but then he also has enough money to do so. I'm assuming that Durk's attorneys found another idea, which was to switch judges and use a district one, being that a district judge holds more weight than their last one, hoping that they would get the district judge to overrule the other judge. When it came time for his bond hearing on June 2nd, 2025, the judge didn't come to a conclusion just yet on that date. Instead, the judge waited until a week to come to his decision based on what the prosecutor said and Durk attorneys. Within that week, Durk got 2 pieces of good news concerning his legal cases, because he would find out that he would not be charged for the unaliving of Stephon Mack, who was a Chicago man who was unalived in 2022 by 2 suspects, which the feds accused Durk of hiring the 2 guys to do the hit in that case, making it his second M for hire charge. Significant evidence wasn't produced in time to prosecute Lil Durk and hold him accountable, therefore it was thrown out, leaving Lil Durk to be free of one last headache and an unsealed indictment. The second piece of good news came when it would come out that prosecutors would no longer be seeking the death penalty in Lil Pab's case. So as of now, the worst case scenario of Lil Durk is him having to spend the rest of his life in prison. Sounds like a crazy ultimatum, but if you ask me, nobody wants to lose their life no matter what anyway. So after a week passed, most of us thought Lil Durk would receive good news and it was looking like a bond was possible. However, the district judge will also deny Lil Durk of his bond, leaving him to stay inside jail and fight his case from inside until trial starts on October 14th of this year. Now basically, the district judge held the same stance as the last judge, stating that based on Durk's charges, he poses a threat to society and the case as a whole, fearing that if he's allowed to be released, this may put witnesses and cooperators in jeopardy along with their families. Then to make matters worse, Lil Pab's mom showed up to the whole bond hearing and told news reporters that she fears for her and her family's life if Lil Durk was to be released. Sheesh. Now I told y'all before, aside from that, it wouldn't make much sense for them to release Lil Durk when they already got him in their custody, especially based off the type of charges that he's facing. He already proved to be a flight risk based on the last judge, saying that they feel he tried to leave after his co-defendants was arrested and his name was attached to many flights. His attorney came up with a story for it, but as I always tell y'all, the feds aren't slow. They literally get paid to solve these crimes and study these guys, so even though Durk's attorney had a solid story behind his name being attached to so many flights, the feds weren't buying it, and it came back to bite him. Not only that, but they also feel that Lil Durk haven't been following rules while he's already in federal custody, so it makes you think that he will follow any while he has more freedom on the outside. Like I said before, I think they were being a little excessive with holding him due to illegally using third-party calls, but when you hear it from their point of view, it kind of makes sense. He's being accused of using his money to hire guys who allegedly unalive a guy in a whole different state. Now he's in jail and allegedly using his money to have his way and get other inmates pins to have more phone time and make illegal three-way calls. So you see how it all correlates with each other? Well, that's what they were getting at. So now it will also come out that the last judge didn't only deny Durk a bond hearing, he also basically told him the only way he would be released is if he was to go broke. And honestly, at first I'm like, how can the judge outright say that? Until I had to read in between the lines and understand the whole thing. Basically, the judge is letting Durk know he's not coming out, and he basically used figurative language. He said the only way Durk is coming home is if he go broke and take away all his assets, which is equivalent to someone saying, the day a cow jumps over the moon, I give you $1 million, right? Because it's not going to happen. For one, who wants to go broke? And for two, the only way he could go broke is if he's able to spend the money, and he can't do that if he is incarcerated. Now, according to an Instagram post from Being Black is Lit, it'll say, quote, "Judge says Lil Durk will have to go completely broke and give up all of his assets for bond to be granted. They say otherwise he may use his wealth to put hits on witnesses or flee." The caption will quote an excerpt from court transcripts as it would say, quote, "Any set of conditions would need to impoverish defendant and lead to the forfeiture of all interest in his intellectual property. Judge says Lil Durk will have to go completely broke and give up all of his assets for bond to be granted. They say otherwise he may use his wealth to put hits on witnesses or flee." Another post from My Mixtapes would show fans attempting to tell Durk how he should handle his finances to avoid this, as one person would say, quote, "Put it all in mama's name and brokerage accounts." Now, let's just say this, it's way too late for all that. At this point, the courts already know how much he's worth and how much he actually has. But if he did have financial literacy, he would have done this way beforehand, as well as either have things set up in his kid's name like Diddy did, or use shell corporations, or at least a trust account. All these are ways to protect your assets, but as of now, it's way too late for him to try and do any of that because it's not too much he could do while he's sitting behind bars. Now, as much as it sounds like a reach, the judge is telling Durk he's not coming out. And once again, some may say he's wrong, some may say he's right. I'll just say I understand their point of view, because if they did let Durk out and something happened to the family or witnesses, then whether Durk really had something to do with it or not, he would be blamed for it and the courts would catch flack, because people would then question why was he even released in the first place. And y'all know how much they don't like to be held accountable for anything. Now on the flip side of that, I was more surprised at the fact he received 3 back-to-back bond hearings after being denied literally for the same reason. They said he was a threat to society in the first one, so why have another bond hearing as if him being a threat to society can change? But not only that, how was he able to be granted 3 bond hearings all in the span of 6 months? And then we have to realize the type of charges that he has. He's being accused of M for hire, which means that you run the risk of being able to get something done if we do let you out, because they have seen it time after time in the past. And whether he would or not, they rather just not risk it because they put in a lot of work to just let him go and risk it being all flushed down the toilet. This is the feds we're talking about, not the state. They're not that lenient, and this is why they had the conviction rate that they have. Now just think, right now the feds are considering giving a guy from New York the death penalty for calling hits while he was in their custody. So like I said, they play a little different and they're a little more stern. Y'all jump in the comments, let me know what y'all think about this. Don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe. Hit that bell so you're notified every time we drop new content. And remember, as long as you keep on watching, I'ma keep on dropping. I'm out.